Hello, I hope that you are having the most astonishing day and that the world has been kind to you. And if that isn't the case, then let's correct that right here, right now. You should know how incredible you are and how grateful I am that you are here and sharing this moment with me. And just wait until you hear what we're getting ourselves into today.
Red lights, green lights, strawberry wine. Like a really comedy
Finally arrived at the Venus and Mars album, and let me just tell you, I have been highly anticipating this one since the first time I read the title of this album on Paul McCartney's discography. Something drew me to this one, and we're finally here and kicking off this whole experience. We're starting out with a bang because it's my understanding that tracks 1 and 2 are tied together. They're a sort of medley, Venus and Mars and Rock Show. So we're just going to be lumping them together today as if it's just one long song and then moving on to track 3
as if that were track 2.
What?
Did that make sense?
Big time!
So much crispness and clearness in the production. These instruments are just piercing right through the sound. It's so bright and beautiful, and it feels so in our face and so forward. Well, we had an ad interrupt. Here are just some thoughts really quickly before moving right on into Rock Show.
I don't want this to take too long.
I loved right at the beginning how we started off so bright and we had that major chord to introduce us into the song, and then quickly things got minor and soured, and every single minor chord just leveled up the beauty one at a time, and then having that 7th there, such an effective transition and switch over. So now we'll see how it leads into Rock Show. Oh, and the lyrics, so meta. I feel like I'm placed right there in the arena, and I loved all the descriptive language to place us right there with him. We can see what he's seeing, the colors of the lights, red lights, green lights, the flavor of his wine, of his drink. It's just, it's very exciting. Underneath it all, you can feel the apprehension of being at a show or moments before a performance is about to unfold.
Prepare for something amazing.
So just taking a look at the vocal alone, it's been pushed a little bit under, whereas before it was a little more forefront, and I feel like that was very effective in the storytelling nature of how these two songs combine. Like the first one was like a whisper, like we're in his head, these inner thoughts. That's why it's so clear, as if we are him, we're one with Paul McCartney. And now it's kind of more of the ambiance of being at the Rock Show. In Venus and Mars, I wonder if this was intentional because of the name. There was that synthesizer that added this cosmic and galactic atmosphere to the whole song, whereas this one feels like it's delving way more into the rock and roll aspect, especially with this distortion that's placed over the vocal. That was a big jump there melodically. You glimpsed an X. I gotta see what is going on with the notes. Okay, so roughly this is what my ear is picking up on currently. You glimpse an X. And this is really cool for so many reasons. But first, let's start with the technical movement, right? What's going on is we're starting with a B, and the first movement or the first interval that we see is a very small one. We just have a third. You glimpse, and then we go back down to B, so at the starting note, and X, and that's the bigger leap. That's a 6th. But what makes this All the cooler is the way it's executed. It's not executed, you glimpse an axe. It's drawn out. It's that slide that's adding to this whole subsection. So right away, whenever this song started, what came at me blaringly obvious was that this feels like an old-time rock and roll song, all the way from the heavy filtering on the vocal and the distortion that's placed over it, and the inclusion of piano and the emphatic usage of the percussion. It all tied together so well. And then we have this pocket of stepping a little bit into the unknown. Into the unknown. Tying into the whole Venus and Mars of it all. And we're getting some progressive experimental sides of rock. So it's like this fusion of these two worlds coming up with a whole new aged thing. And I love how they're able to take this moment to vocally mimic what's going on. I gotta come clean. Even though there were so many different switch ups, each one took me by surprise. I should have just expected them all the way through, but each one kind of knocked me off my horse.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
There's so many schools of thought on the different sides of rock that are being shown, because maybe is it tying into this whole thing that music as a whole, but more specifically rock, is this universal language, so there are many faces of rock that can be integrated together so seamlessly and so perfectly. Then with the last one, I thought maybe this ties back into the whole meta aspect that's going on, not only in the lyrics, but also with the song itself, that he's placing us right there in the concert. As the song changes, we can feel the liveness and the showmanship of what's going on. Like in a show, anything can happen and anything goes, and you're live and the show must go on.
The one that got away, I saw.
If you make a mistake, you gotta improvise and find a way to work it into what you're doing.
I think we have a problem.
Possibly make what you're doing even better, because it's just this new opportunity to explore something new. Moving right along and jumping all the way to track 3, we have Love in Song. And just going off of the title, I'm excited for this one. Pulled back.
My heart cries out loving song. And when love is my song, I can see to go to now.
This is probably the greatest moment of my life.
Sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
This is just so insane. Every moment just stacks on top of the last and just becomes more sensational and more extravagant. He is really taking this moment to deliver a very delicate, gentle, and tender approach on a very warm and rich and deep, soulful, sultry vocal. So beautifully executed. The sound is so resonant and full. And he's really ripping through these runs and these vocal riffs, executing them immaculately, and then The chord direction is the thing that really has me taken aback. Using these minor chords, steering this ship, and then the inclusion of all of the extra chords, like the sevenths and the sound builders, feels like it's happening in the dream world. That subtle vocal flip on standing, and then again on Love and Song. It's just so clever.
Love and song.
Every device culminated together to form this Western sounding cosmic experience, like an old cowboy country Western movie type of song that exists in outer space.
It's Bob Gilbert,
The businessman.
Hoy, nuestro número 4 se llama You Gave Me the Answer. ¿Y cuál es esta respuesta? I love a good piano with a sustain pedal to add to this beautiful ribbony delivery, very velvety. Nice walk down.
You gave me the answer to love eternally. The local phone agreed. You seem to like me. Heading back places where the cobwebs blow away.
Okay, this is just the warmest nostalgic hug that I could ever receive. It probably sounds crazy to get emotional over a simple, sweet, perhaps silly song like this one, but there are some really important technical aspects that need to be commended here, like the use of syncopation, which is this off-rhythm type way of staying on rhythm that's very hard to execute, kind of like doing two things that go against each other, or two contradictory motions that are very confusing, and executing that flawlessly. And then there's this entire filter placed over everything, which almost gives the same effect as like a sepia tone filter over a video. So old-timey, like from an old-timey TV, so far away, because it's the voice that's far away, it's the instrumentation that's far away, it's everything that just has this like sort of effect placed over it, like a smoke screen, and it's very beautiful, and it's reminding me so much of When I'm 64, and I have the deepest connection with that song for a few different reasons. So it's just striking a chord with me right now. And I love this playful nature that's integrated throughout this whole piece. It's like this back and forth call and response between different elements and different instruments.
You'll never be crowned by the aristocracy. You seem to like me.
There was a little bit of everything to love with this song. And I know that John Lennon has given a bad light to this style of song that Paul McCartney writes. He titles these specific ones granny type beat. But I really, really love these. I don't know. I don't know if they're the most masterful pieces of art, but to me, they always will be. They will resonate strong with me. At number 5, and second to last, we have Magneto and Titanium Man. And just based off of this title, this song better be explosively epic. Comic book-esque. Bouncy.
But I was talking last night. Magneto and Titanium Man. They said you were supposed to run.
McCartney going back and forth from his speaking voice to this beautiful, silky, smooth vocal delivery is just insane. That shows masterful vocal control to be able to ping pong these two modes so excellently and so precisely.
Last night, Benito entertaining. That was just happened at 2:45. The Crimson Dynamo finally assured me, well, I knew we went out. Benito entertained the library, and we swung all over that long five-star glitter, breaking the code. The diamonds come together, our forces run. And it occurred to me, you couldn't be bad, just couldn't cut it no more.
This breakdown was so unexpected and so cool. It really is furthering this narrative and this storytelling nature of the song. It's very exciting. It has me on the edge of my seat. And then he dipped really low. This is the vocal Olympics here for Paul McCartney, showing off his extensive range and how, how excellent he can be in so many different areas. It's in different areas. An idea that I'm wrestling with that's kind of baffling me is the fact that this album, so far, this side, feels very sonically cohesive. And the reason why this is just such a great discussion or a thought to have is because each song explores so many faces of music. Like the rhythm changes constantly and the sounds change. I think that in the last song we had a whole range. Like we even went into the diminished. Here it felt like we primarily stayed major, which was why the song was so bright. But even just staying in the major, he was able to exercise what can be done within the constructs of a major. Discovering new sounds within the major is always really fun for me. I love when musicians do that, and who better than McCartney to do this? Our final song of the night is Letting Go. Here goes everything. I like the groove on this one. This is so hypnotic. This is so mesmerizing because of this groove that's established in the tempo. But very important, we have these choices in the chord movement. Like we have this pinched sus that then gets resolved. So that constant stress or that anxiety that's built up with the sus chord, and then when it releases, it's this like dramatic tension building. It's like this toxic cycle, and every time that you come to the end of it, it's like this sort of release or this like dopamine rush.
Right, duh.
This abrupt switch up, getting higher and higher, very exciting. The way that so many aspects of this song interacted with one another was really, really cool, because just taking a look at the sax and the trumpets, that I felt like that was the inner turmoil of when you're really passionate, that strong, vibrant heat, and then the rest of the disposition of the song exists in a little bit more of a cooler timbre, a little bit darker. The lights are a little bit dimmer than the brightness that's expelled with the trumpet and sax. And so that kind of duality feels like when you have all these emotions, but you're like trying to play it cool, like it has this subdued nature. Thank you so very much for accompanying me all the way to Venus and Mars. I couldn't have gotten here without you guys, and I can't wait to return. Can't wait to just get through this whole album because it's so good. I already know I'm going to be hooked on these 6 songs, or I guess 5. You let me know how you experience this album and enjoy it. Do you think of the first 2 as one song, or do you take them separately? Now I realize that the first song, Venus and Mars, was more of like a sort of intro, dipping our toe into the pool of this insane album. It is of the utmost significance that we take a moment to acknowledge and deeply thank and share all of my gratitude to our enchantingly beautiful and astounding Super Thanks heroes. I love you guys so very much, and you mean the absolute world to me. Thank you to Mr. B, Marissa Martinez, Jerry Manas, Kevin Corkill, Swedish Jeff, and Ed Myers. You guys are rock stars. Mr. B, Marissa, Kevin, and Jeff, and Jerry Manas. To reminisce is a risk when I indulge too far in what I miss. The results can mix from a smile through tears to a mile of fears that will take years away from bliss. But then I remember this. Your kindness can shine through the darkest of the darkness. Your light reflects all the good that there's ever been, and I'm grateful. Feels like a win to witness goodness like yours. I'm sure everyone is quite enchanted to know you, and I thank you. Sincerely and full-heartedly mean every single word. You guys are beyond heroic. And speaking of beyond heroic, if you remember from the last few times, we've incorporated this new element of highlighting a special Super Thanks hero. So for today, our special Venus and Mars Super Thanks superhero, our ultimate Super Thanks superhero is Jerry Manas. You rock. You're an absolute rock star. And this one is dedicated just to you. Listen, I'll try to make this really fast. Words meant to last. Dear Jerry Manas, you're a hero. You glisten like when the sun has risen. You shine. It's no secret of mine that sometimes I'm a sad kid, but you help to rid the frowns that sometimes plague my crowns, and you bring them all to the rain where my mind resides. You're a hero and a friend of mine. Love you so very much. You mean the absolute world to me. I hope that each and every one of you goes out there, has an exceptional day, that you do something exciting, fun, relaxing, and that you take it easy.